So moving on from that, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact on this game besides Brady and Mahomes?
Honestly, I think it is the Chiefs' offensive line unit.
Mm,
It is if they can kind of piecemeal it together. I mean, we don't give Andy Heck enough credit
right.
for mixing and matching those guys. I mean, Andy Reid always talks about how he mixes and matches them throughout preseason and the regular season just to get them all used to each other. Like those guys like a Mike Rimmers who's a swing tackle, the guys like Steven Wisniewski who they bring in late in the season who finds the fountain of youth for some reason in the last 5-6 weeks of the season when he
Right.
couldn't find him footing in Pittsburgh earlier in the year. A guy like Austin Ryder, who's been called upon to be really to anchor the unit because he's the guy that's been there. I mean, those guys have a huge job, huge task ahead of them. But again, what do they do when they have a huge task ahead of them? They rise up to the challenge. They love the underdog. They find any real reason to be an underdog. That's what they've always done, and it works for them. And I think they know they're coming in as an underdog because the Eric Fisher injury hurts a lot.
Mhm.
So they're just going to have to anchor down, if you will. That is huge because what you cannot doubt. Granted, Mahomes is going to do a lot better than most when it comes to he's going to roll out the pocket because I think that toe is pretty healthy.
Yeah.
At least for the one game, so going to be pretty healthy, and he can
Mhm.
roll out of the pocket a little bit. He can make plays, and he can do that with an offensive line that might be mangled. But again, like we talked to Will Shields earlier, and he mentions like, all right, well, they're going to do a lot of RPOs. Like, look, if we're running the football, if we're passing, just make it very clear what you're doing. That helps out. And then another guy that blocks really well is Travis Kelce. So
Right.
maybe he's a guy that we don't see a big game out of him because he's blocking a lot, but we'll see. He'll make huge strides. It's just not going to be 8 receptions, 89 yards. It's going to be, wow, that was a really good chip block or that was a good protect block. That's why we're seeing Darrell Williams a lot because he's a good blocking back, especially in pass protection. So we're going to see those guys more and more. And those are going to be the things that you don't see in the stat book, but they're going to really show up. And that's why it's going to take a full team effort to really protect Patrick so he can get that ball to a Tyreek, so he can get that ball to DeMarcus, so he can get that ball to a Sammy Watkins if he's healthy. So we'll see how that goes from there. But I think the offensive line is the biggest unit for Chiefs.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this offensive line is, as you mentioned, you really have to tip your cap to Andy Heck. And I wrote a story actually before the season started saying that the offensive line's versatility is probably their biggest strength. A lot of people like to talk about Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, but I thought the offensive line's versatility when it came in, the unit coming in when you had Mike Remmers could play literally any position on the offensive line, that really helped them eventually with when they had all those injuries come up. But I'm curious if you think, and I think that I do, if Andy Reid and Tyreek Hill and if Travis Kelce can all outweigh the negative impacts of having a hurt offensive line, and obviously Patrick Mahomes in there too. But do you think that they can kind of negate those offensive line struggles?
Get that ball out quick. I mean,
Yeah,
they've been doing it pretty quickly. I mean, look, I think we saw in the Buffalo game just a simple 5-yard out route to Tyreek Hill turned out to be 40, 50 plus yard gains.
mm-hmm.
And because we saw the inside the NFL footage of Buffalo basically saying, boy, that guy fast. Like, we're going to catch up. It was like, it's funny because they played them in week 6 and you thought
Right.
they should have figured out he was fast then. And they did because they were playing 20, 25 yards back. So they didn't realize it until they start playing up. And next thing you know, like, whoa, yeah, it shows up. So again, when you see a guy like Tyreek Hill and you know that the Bucs did not have success when they try to just go straight man to man, which Todd Bowles is not going to do.
Right.
I fully expect them to double team both of those guys, or at least put a linebacker they can think that can be physical. Rumor has it with Tyreek Hill, they're going to try to get physical with him at the line of scrimmage because they think that if they can do that, well, he'll just submit. I don't think that's true. But again, if you get the ball out quick, all he's got to do is just do a quick release, and then he's in a one-on-one situation, and we know who wins that battle all the time. It's the Cheetahs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Carlton Davis has nightmares of the first game.
Right.
Are they going to line him up again against them? It's a head game. So it's get them in space, get that ball out quick. One interesting stat that is Brady is one of the top in the league in terms of getting the ball out quick, about 2.5 seconds. Mahomes is third. Like, he's just right there in like 3 seconds. They can block for 3 seconds. And I know Andy Reid knows that. So it's like you get the ball out quick and just get it to playmakers. Just get it to playmakers. Sammy Watkins, find that middle ground in the zone. Demarcus Robinson, find that middle ground in the zone. Byron Pringle, find that middle zone of the ground. Hey, McCole, let's run you around. You know, like you got a 50-yard gain against the Buffalo Bills and want to run. I mean, let's bring him around. Like, let's get some misdirection going with Tyreek and McCole in the backdrop. I mean, we still don't know if they've used the full arsenal of their playbook yet. There's still things they could use. You know, we haven't gotten all the pad plays yet that I think Andy talks about so much. So, yeah, I mean, just get those guys in space, get the ball out quick. That's going to be the key to it.